Hello and welcome to the One People Show. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's roundtable chat.
Cold people chat. It's the cold people chat today? Yeah.
I nearly wore my new beanie, but I've already got beanie hair as it is, so I probably shouldn't. But anyway. Okay, things that... Wow, I got the perfect intro. Oh, things that made Dee's head explode this week.
Yes, there were a few. There was actually a lot of exploding heads this week for Dee.
Main one of the main ones, was what Marvel have done to Captain America. So she's quite the Marvel fan, as you've probably known.
I'm a long-time cartoon and comic book reader. I have been a Marvel fan since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, as my grandfather would say. And, you know, while Captain America was never one of my favorite Marvel superheroes, he is an icon. And when we look at...
Sorry, carry on.
Playing with you. Stop it. When you look at American pop culture, which is kind of a be-all, end-all in America right now. I mean, when you have an entire society that has been flooded with programming to do with pop culture, music, TV shows, all of this kind of stuff, and, of course, comic books. And we have, I've got the photo right over here. I can pull it up into the screen share if we have to, or the video as well. Captain America, of course, stands as a hero icon in the States that kind of surpasses a lot of the other ones because of the background of how he was created. You know, he was the super soldier who was created to combat Nazism during the Second World War. Well, they've just, not really Marvel, but Marvel has just released a new series of Captain America comic books called Steve, give me a break, I can't even remember the name now. And in issue 1, turns out Captain America is a Nazi.
Hydra.
Hail Hydra. And it broke the internet on Wednesday when this comic book was released. People lost their shit. And I mean, I lost my shit because of all the conversations we've had.
I actually thought World War III broken out based on her reaction. And I'm like, what? And then she tells me that Captain America is Hydra. I was like,
okay. But based on all the conversations that we've been having for months about the Nazis, about the rhetoric of let's turn it all around, all the questions we now have about Hitler and what actually happened during the Second World War, and the pieces that Marvel have released through all their movies. Like, all their movies have just been propaganda and programming, so much so, and this piece is released.
You know what it reminded me of, and Jeff's going to have to be the one to tell me, because I can't remember the name of the movie, but the one where the Nazis at the end of World War II disappeared to the moon and had the base on the moon.
Iron something.
Iron Sky?
Yes, Iron Sky.
Iron Sky.
Thank you, Jeff.
And again, it was like the majority of the Nazis who went to the moon were good people who believed that they were somehow trying to save the planet and save humanity, and then there was just a couple of bad guys at the top. And that's what I can't have to say. But the things that have been released through this comic book are in alignment in some respects with the stuff that we've been looking into over the course of this year. It didn't make me think that Marvel's been co-opted. It made me think that somebody at Marvel knows something and they're leaking it.
Well, then I went. So we all know I download illegal movies all the time. There you go, fully admitted. So I haven't done the new Captain America movie yet. I hadn't watched it yet. So when that news came out on Wednesday about the comic book, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to watch Captain America Civil War, which is out in the theaters right now. So I got myself a bootleg copy, and I watched that. Actually, we've watched it 2 nights in a row now. We watched it last night, and we watched it the night before.
I haven't seen it.
She hasn't seen it yet. Oh, you saw little bits and pieces. Movie kind of sucks. As far as Marvel movies go, it was kind of suckish. But then the new Spider-Man really sucks. But the premise of the movie, there were several moments during that movie where Nick and I looked at each other and went, oh.
You said it was uncomfortable to watch.
It was uncomfortable because it was kind of, you could see these pieces of disclosure. Like, it was so much propaganda. So the basic premise, I'm not going to blow the plot line, but the basic premise, the opening of the movie is, you remember at the end of Avengers 2, the Avengers go in and they're beating the bad guy in this fictional country, Sokovia, and they end up dropping a whole section of the land, falls down and hundreds of people die, et cetera, et cetera. But it's the battle of good guys against the bad guys in Sokovia. The movie opens up, the Captain America Civil War movie opens up where they're now in Nigeria and they're doing another one where they're chasing the bad guys and innocent people get killed again. And the Secretary of State, the American Secretary of State says, yeah, basically we've had enough of the Avengers and you guys just doing whatever the hell you want. They've put together the Sokovia Accords through the United Nations that basically would pull the Avengers under the United Nations, that they would only be able to go on missions sanctioned by the United Nations. They would only be able to do what they're told by the United Nations, et cetera, et cetera. And basically that's the opening of the movie, and you have the schism because you got half the Avengers think this is the best way. We must follow the United Nations. We have to let them be responsible for telling us what to do, where to go, et cetera, et cetera. And the other half of the Avengers going, no, 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 no. We're not going to let this political bullshit separate us. Well, you have on the side of the UN, you have Iron Man and War Machine, of course, and various others. And on the side up against the United Nations, you have Captain America. Oh, who just weeks after the movie comes out, the new comic book releases that he is Hydra, working against the United Nations. And the kind of the whole premise of these Sokovia Accords is very Agenda 2030. Like, you know, put the United Nations in charge. They will tell everyone what to do, and they, like the Avengers would not be able to do anything. They would not be able to go on any missions, do anything without full permission of the United Nations, which is very Agenda 2030 or Agenda 21, depending on which one you want to look at. So yeah, there was a whole very interesting play out, and some of the little pieces that are said in the movie about responsibility, and like I said, Captain America making the comments of like, no, we can't make them responsible. We need to be responsible for ourselves. If we have to fix kind of the way we're working, then it's our responsibility to take responsibility for our actions, not just pass it on to some other bunch of politicians, you know, the United Nations, who then orders them around. It was interesting. The political propaganda between the two pieces, very, very interesting. And like I said, considering the conversations that Lisa and I have had with you guys over the last months about the Nazis, about all of this and the programming that we're seeing, the twisting and turning of history. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Mm. Moving right along.
Moving right along. That was just one head exploding.
Just before last week's show, a video was shared with us that we were watching, and we said we might kick it off, go over it a bit this week, which we would like to, because it's...
You talk, I'm just going to line it up.
Based or in connection with the whole concept of space being water, the artificial construct and the whole separation of the waters from the waters by the firmament, and blah, blah, blah. there's some really interesting little pieces in this video. It's quite a long video. How long? It's 15 minutes, 14 and a half minutes, but we're not playing it all. Dee's just going to try and cue up a particular piece. But it's how sound... you've all seen Cymatics, probably, where you see how, like, sand on a plate, and they feed sound into it, and it creates these different shapes. Well, this is something similar with frequency and water and what our planets potentially are. It's a really stunning piece of video. But it also, for me, last week we talked about the box saga, but couldn't remember what it was called. So thank you for everyone who sent me videos on the box saga. Again, the box saga is based on frequency and sound. Our original language and the tones and the sounds and their meanings has an effect on consciousness, which triggers memories, and it's all connected. The way I see it, it's all connected. No, the Bok, as in B-O-C, and it's saga. It's pronounced saga. I can't remember what they mean now. Sa means something and ga means something. Not saga as in, dramatic story, but there is a connection here between water and frequency and sounds and tones, and it's to do with the construct, the environment, our consciousness, our bodies, our memories. It's all connected. Are you getting me here?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to pull up. This is the problem. The whole video is so phenomenal that it's trying to just pin. You guys have to watch it. It's 15 minutes of, you got to watch this. But I'm just trying to find the one piece where they show the example between.
So you've seen footage, we've shown you footage, and you've probably seen it on your own, of oh my God, I can't talk. Amateur video footage of the planets and how they look like cells or holograms. And then you compare that to this video footage of cells and water droplets with fed different frequencies. It's kind of interesting. There was also another piece of footage that to me is sort of connected, that rocket that came back in.
Oh, that's one of the other pieces. Good call. Good remember.
There's footage of a rocket. There's a camera at the front of the rocket as it's supposedly coming back into our atmosphere and landing on a very small target.
SpaceX.
And there is a couple of points where it looks like it splashes through water, or at least what looks like water droplets are coming.
Something is splashing up on the camera. And they're above. You can see that the rocket is above the clouds. So you can't say, oh, they were going through a section of cloud and it was the heat of the rocket, was moisture and blah, clouds, etc. No. They were well above the clouds, and all of a sudden something splashes up on the camera.
But a debate did kind of ensue a little bit, because I was convinced that from the height that the footage started at, it was still contained within our environment. I don't believe it was showing
outside
from space. It's looked too close for me. Cymatic holograms in the dome. I've seen some videos of those, and the rocket that seems to be trapped in space. There is one that you see of a rocket being launched. It goes straight up and then it just stops dead. That might be the one you're thinking of. Yeah, no, this one's coming.
This is brand new.
Down.
It's basically showing the SpaceX rocket. I muted myself. The rocket coming back down after doing I believe, with payload delivery to the ISS. I'm not sure. But because they've had multiple crashes, but now they've done it 3 times in a row now, they've actually landed the rocket back on the platform. So it's the video of the rocket coming back down, descending to Earth, and then landing on the floating platform in the ocean. And that was just last week or the week before.
The other piece of the that footage that I noted was, just like all of the flat Earth guys have shown, when they send up anything, a rocket, a space shuttle, or whatever, it goes that way, right? It never goes up until you lose sight of it, ever.
No, it always goes like this, yeah.
Same thing with that rocket coming back in. It's going
down.
And then it starts to go down.
Well, one of the reasons for that is trajectory, is to reduce the friction going through the supposed atmosphere. If you want to believe the whole thing of this, Robert Heinlein actually explains this really, really well in The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. So if you come straight down, traveling at velocity, going straight down through the atmospheres, they would explode. That's why they come in at an angle, because then you go through stratosphere, ionosphere, etc., at a slower angle, and they have to supposedly carefully calculate exactly the angle they come in from, because if it's too steep, they burn up, and if it's too shallow, they skip off. They skip off the next atmosphere, and then they've got to go all over again. That's what the explanation is according to NASA science. Yeah, I know. Hey, I never said I was telling you the truth. I just said I'm giving you the explanation according to NASA. If you mute, I'm going to show the video. I've lined it up to a piece where it's showing you the frequencies, sound frequencies on the water droplets. Then they're showing a close-up of an amateur zoom of one of the stars that has been slowed down. So I'm going to show you this.
Okay, before you do.
Yeah.
That was really clever. Atmosphere. Atmosphere.
Atmosphere. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right to me, if you ask me. Okay, I'm going to, I guess, start my video. Right? I guess I have to start my video to do this, don't I?
You need to share screen and then start the video. So I will turn his camera off.
Okay, guys, give us a second. Okay, are you muted? Or we'll just use your speaker? We can just use your speaker. You just won't get any sound through this. We won't get any sound through this. Okay, guys, bear with me a second here. No, out of the way. Here we go. Okay, can you guys see that clearly? Can everyone see the screen? I'm going to make it bigger, but I just want to make sure everyone can see it before I go mucking with everything. So this is the footage of the star slowed down, and then they're going to show you the my video is on. Well, that doesn't make any sense. No, you're seeing me. That's us. That's your camera. Well, wait. I don't know. Don't look at me. Stop video. Is that better? Okay, we'll try that again, folks. Can you all see that? Okay, come on. I can't get to the play button. What the hell's going on? See if that. There we go.
What did I say?
Oh, sorry, guys. Bear with me. That is why I didn't want to go to full screen, because it goes all screwed up like this. Bear with me a second. Well, now I can see the thing. So this is the star, and I think this is Vega, and they're showing you at speed. This is an amateur video of it. Now they've slowed it down. So you can see the pattern shapes in the slope, which is amazing in and of itself. Now give us a second. They will show you. I'm going to show you there now. And there's the water droplet. Sound frequency in water resembles the pulsating pattern of what we would see in the star.
That's the star.
There's the star. And when they slow it down, now unfortunately, when you go to zoom full page like this, it really doesn't show it very clearly because you guys are going through the internet to see it. But when you see the patterns of the water resonating at the different frequencies, and I really highly recommend everyone take 15 minutes, and we'll embed this video with the posting when we post the show. It is really cool. Looking at the various water droplets, the tones, well, this is one here, piano notes on the CinemaScope that shows you the visual patterns of various notes being played. And then we look at the resonant frequency of these stars and the patterns they make when they're slowed down. Yes, there we go. There you go. You can take us back.
So, hypotheses at this point, at least mine, I won't speak for anybody else, is what if the stars are either having different frequencies projected to them, which are then broadcasting those frequencies to us, or they self-generate these frequencies.
Are they broadcasting their own frequencies? Like music, the stars playing music, if they're all twinkling stars in the sky. We see the stars twinkling. Last night was an amazing night for that. I don't know if you've got a chance to take a look up. The last 2 nights have been crystal clear, and you can see all these stars twinkling. So what if the twinkling is in effect those different hertz and a song? Do 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 do. I don't know. That's what we've been doing all week. Going, isn't it interesting?
And there's been a lot of things that have made us do that, actually.
Yeah, just a bit.
But if you can identify the pattern of a star at a particular, like get a screen capture basically of a bunch of different stars at any particular moment, and then identify the frequency in that moment of each of them.
Okay.
What song are they singing?
Have you ever seen an old music box? You know, like really old music boxes, and they have the little metal wheel, and it's got the little knob bumps on it, and they've got the little metal finger, so when as it rotates through, it plays the song. So, I don't know, if you could assign, through looking at all the stars, the notes that they play, and then as they rise over from the horizon, play back each according note as it rises, as each note rises over the horizon, and see what kind of a song it plays.
Do, 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 do.
I don't know. I think someone should do that. There we go. We just come up with the great, really grandiose idea. Someone should do that.
Please, someone run with this.
Please, someone run with this. Go take all the stars, analyze what hertz they're at, make the musical tones, and then play them back as they rise over the horizon.
Now, but this leads to many more questions, right? Firstly,
water.
Well, yeah, but no. If we're looking at it like that, are the stars generating their own song, or is there a frequency being projected to them that they're broadcasting? Are they doing it? If they are doing it on their own, are they doing it in conjunction and in unison with the planet? If this is a closed system in some way, shape, or form, is it just singing its own song? Can we affect it? Is it affecting us? There are so many questions.
Going off the premise of a firmament, we're going to just go along with the premise of the whole idea of a firmament, of basically those stars being just their light bulbs, whatever you want to fucking call them. Whatever, we all know the big balls that keep falling out of the ceiling. That rotates around. Could it be? Could that be could that be the control structure that holds us in place? The tones? Frequency is everything.
Oh my
Frequency
God.
is everything.
So all that just goes back to the whole time in Morocco. I'm sorry.
Okay, go. Yeah, okay. Hit me.
You don't remember?
Well, define for me, like... What time in Morocco? Seriously.
Well, a big bunch of it. There was several of us having dreams around the same time about the same thing. It was all about the tones. There was the
Yep.
There was Heather was on about something about tones.
Yep. Back in with the Sahara, and actually that was really Yeah, when we were in the Sahara, I was doing a lot of toning work. Like a lot, and it was like a driven thing. Like I just knew there was all these tones that I was setting up. Do you remember the thing with my nose ring in the bus going up there? So, because I do sing all the time, I had a nose ring in, as I always do. I've had for 25 years. The day before we went, my nose ring fell out. I couldn't. I was like, why did my nose ring fall out? That's really bizarre. And then on the bus, my nose ring fell out again. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening? And then the first day we were there, it fell out in the hotel room, and I had to do that whole like scramble around in the morning through your bedding to try and find my ring. And I said to Heather, the fuck, I can't, it's like my nose ring is jumping out of my nose. And we got talking about tones, and she was like, well, technically, I guess if the nose ring came out, it would alter the tones that you sing. Because anything in the whole cavity structure of your toning cavities would change that. Which is why singers that have big noses won't have the nose jobs, because it would change their voice, right? And I was like, okay, well, fine, then I won't put the nose ring back in. And I didn't put my nose ring back in for months after that. And I put it back in, it was fine. It never popped open again. It was just during that time.
I'm not even thinking about the Sahara time. I'm thinking about Alstom time.
Oh, no, and that too. But for me, specifically in my own personal story, the toning, that I did a shitload of toning, and I was setting a lot of different tone markers all the way through the trip in the Sahara.
Okay, Jeff, you left a cryptic. What does Steve Richards say?
Okay. I've asked the universe to know the unknown. So I get these in 3 different sources. 375 hertz is the true deprogramming hertz. So Steve Richards confirmed this one-on-one, that 375 is the true hertz before Beethoven. Because a lot of people want to run the Beethoven symphony program, that is the true 432, 528 love bullshit, which, sorry, it's bullshit.
What? We've been duped? No.
Yeah.
Oh, we've been duped. I'm so crushed.
So there's layers and layers in the programming that, 440 is bad, but let's go to 432 and 528, which is all higher. We're getting higher than 375. I'm not musical. I've asked a bunch of people in the Earth Soul group that are musical to test this, but haven't had feedback.
Okay.
But somebody who's musical, man, 375 is interesting. So that's what I know.
Okay, Jeff, just remind me, because I will go in and look into that myself, because that's one of those things for me. Tone is really important, and I have I have perfect relative pitch, and there's a lot of things that drive me nuts because they're not. Like our kettle, when it whistles, it's not tuned. It literally makes my head explode because quick, someone turn off the fucking kettle before my head blows up. But what they consider tone has never resonated with me as right. Even in high school, when I was part of the orchestra, et cetera, when you tuned the orchestra, it never resonated with me as right. But I've never really gone into this where I've checked out where it hurts. That's something I will check out, because I'm going to have to, definitely.
Yeah, I retuned my whole iTunes library to 432, and sorry, man, it's programming to me, my perception, that's supposed to be the love, which That's the false light programming of love. It's extreme duality. So I just want real. And so I was told through back channels, Michael Jackson found that 375 was the deprogramming hertz. He was to roll that out in the O2 stadiums, the 7 shows, and he got killed for it because you cannot deprogram that many people at once, and the powers that be let it get away with it.
That was what I heard too.
Terry Cole, that's a good point. The 375 would be much looser strings, more mellow, deep, softer. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to, okay, I will actually have to play with this and see, maybe Jeff, you and I can talk after the show at some point today or this week.
Sure.
A good way that we could kind of experiment on this.
And for those of you who do, there's probably already people out there experimenting with this 375. Please let us know what you found.
And Mad Tom, are you in here? If you're in here, because I know you do a lot of musical stuff too. Any thoughts on a program to use or a good way of testing it? I'm not sure.
But there was, oh man, there were these intense dream experiences where I saw and heard because there was a color associated. And remember, we were seeing these rainbows and we were seeing colors and sounds, and it was all connected to like this global kind of wake up. Do you remember?
Yeah, and I just remembered a dream sequence. Just now remember, I haven't thought about it even since the time I had it. It was one of the ones that I had in that time in Ousham in the tower with the top room, and I was coming down, and there was the controller's room, like the financial energy controller's room, and there was a room I went into, and it was an orchestra. And they were playing, hold on, the opening theme from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And morphed, I went into the room, and it morphed into, I'll have to find the song. It is Bulgarian Women's Voice Choir. It's one of their old pieces. If you guys have never heard the Bulgarian Women's Choir, they are considered the greatest trained voices on the planet. They are unbelievable. They sing in quarter tones and eighth tones. Like, it's crazy the shit these women do with their voices. But there's a song that I've always loved, and I went into this room, and it was this massive, huge, if you can imagine a room built for sound, like for acoustics. And the orchestra was playing the 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then it morphed into the opening tones from this song that these women sing. And it just so happened that was one of the songs that I sang in the desert. When I was toning in the desert, I was basing it on one of their songs. And this was months later, because this was in Ousham, that I saw this. And it opened everything up. It was like everything went to like this bright, beautiful, like sunshine and green meadows. It was like gorgeous, incredible feeling of just, you have to go. She's running away. She's leaving me. And it's so funny. I completely forgot all about, wow, I can't believe I forgot all this. Because at the time, it drove me nuts where I needed, and I didn't have the software equipment. I didn't have the computer equipment that I wanted to try and take 2001, the opening of 2001. It was a specific section of that piece of music, and then try and mix it into this other piece and see what happened. And I tried, and because I didn't have anything remotely near the software to be able to do it, and then I forgot about it randomly until just now. And now we're talking about tones again. That's really, really interesting. I was just saying that I tried to try and mix those two pieces of music myself, but because I didn't have any remote software or anything to be able to cut and splice the two pieces of music together. I just couldn't achieve it. It might be something I have to look into now. Now with Darius here, and Darius has got the ability to probably be able to mix those in. I'm going to have to listen to it. Yeah, it's freaking freezing. It's cold. I'm going to have to listen.
I know.
As soon as this is over, I'm going to have to go find the two pieces of music. I'm going to have to play them for myself because there's something in this.
Okay, Jeff, if you were able to convert your entire library to 432, is there a tool out there that you can use to convert it to 375?
Yeah, it took me a month to do it because it's very slow. Odyssey has a program out there, so I did it 2 years ago when this was a fad. Just Google 432 Odyssey, AUD.
Audacity or Odyssey?
Odyssey. It's a, MP3 people would. It's a video or audio player that's very, very popular, and it'll do it. But sorry,
it's a long process, no doubt.
It takes a very long time. Yes.
But if I was just to take two clips of music and put them together and just do that,
that wouldn't take long.
That wouldn't take that long.
It took him a month because I'm sure he's got a hell of a music collection.
Knowing Jeff's video collection, I'm going to say he has a hell of a music collection too.
That's interesting. But I know that there's something in this: tones, frequency, the color.
But everything is frequency. I mean, this is one of the things that we have talked about. Everything is frequency. Sound is frequency. Light is frequency. And for me, I think they're part and parcel of the same thing. Sound is light. Light is sound. And they work. For every sound tone, you will have an equivalent light frequency, which is the visual spectrum, not the audio spectrum.
Someone said something in here earlier that according to somebody, our hearing is highest sense as it goes directly to the soul. And so sound goes directly to the soul.
Well, on that, last week's show, we talked about, we had the thing with the change of pitches you and I talked about.
Oh, yeah.
They shifted again this week. And I don't know.
I didn't catch it.
For the last, I'm going to have to think about this for a second.
The white noise, I've had more this week.
Friday night, I think, was the night that really slammed it into my brain. Literally. Laying in bed. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. No, I'm going to have to say it was probably Friday night. Laying down in bed, and Nick, I know you get into bed, you're lying there, and it's all quiet, and all of a sudden going, can you hear that? And poor Nick is tortured because he's got a wife who's completely wackadoodle. So I'm always saying, do you hear that? And he'll be like, no, I don't hear that. I'm like, no, you have to hear that. And I said to him, do you hear that? And he was like, yeah, I hear that. I can still hear it right now, actually. I'm listening.
Yeah, now that I'm focused on it, yes.
There is a new tone, and there's a new countertone. And it started noticeably Friday night. It is a chord, a 2-note chord. It has a sound as if it's metallic or being played from almost like a metallic instrument but far away. So you're getting kind of, it's soft. It's not garish. And it comes through. But then there's also a rhythm. There's a rhythm pulse, which is separate. And the rhythm pulse I hear, because I hear directionally, I hear the rhythm pulse here on my left ear. But the tone I hear cross, and it goes right across to both ears. Nick can hear it. It has been so deafening for me this week that I've been kind of losing my shit all weekend because the sound is so loud. Now that it's kind of like just being inundated with sound that I can't, there is no quiet space anymore. There's no like going to a quiet space and calming down. So I don't know if anyone else is hearing it, It is unbelievably strong. The loudest I've ever heard these tones, and they are inignorable now. I can't tone them out, or I can't block them out at all. It's really, really fucking loud.
Okay, first, there's a couple of things I just want to address. Tammy, yeah, I'm fine. I just woke up this morning looking and feeling kind of like crap, and my ears are blocked, so I was just trying to unblock my ears. The drum that I think someone's referring to is that Japanese halo drum, the metal one.
But there's a big tone to it. That's when I say, when I'm saying a percussion as a rhythm, the rhythm is not harsh. It is, and that's why when Jeff was just talking about the lower, taking it down into the 375, and Terry Cole said about it would be a lower tone, a looser.
Those halo drums are very tinny.
And that's what I'm not talking about. It's not a tinny sound. It's there is that there, like the really, really high tones are still there, but there's this new tone that I have to now concentrate on the high tones to hear them, because these lower tones are really drowning it all out.
Someone else has just brought up, and you've probably seen the footage too, they connected all these little electrodes to these plants, which were connected to synthesizers.
Yes.
And the plants are actually playing music.
Mm-hmm.
And when you then connect a new plant up, it will actually get in sync and join in the music, and everything is totally in sync. It's beautiful to listen to. And if a person starts off the music, the plants will join in and play with them. It's just incredible.
Well, this is the whole thing, though. But then there was an amazing Russian scientist, I was rereading that just a couple of months ago, too, who did these huge studies on photons. And when we were talking about the whole phosphorus thing again, was that 2 months ago? The Lucifer, the phosphorus, et cetera, and I went back to reread that article that I put out in 2013, and the guy had started by studying light emanating from plants. Well, again, light from plants, light is a frequency. So if there is the visual frequency, there would be the audio frequency. To me, it's you can't have one without the other.
No,
it's just.
I love that comment, Jeff. Michael's boom period. Michael Monk's boom period. When he went through. Low bass. Yeah. No, I'm all blocked up.
No, that's not it.
No, it's the
tones. And now, because it's like when you talk about them, it's like almost as if talking about them has now made them increase in tone. Like literally, I'm having actually difficulty listening. Yeah. Or listening to you anyway. It's that fucking loud in my head. Oh, I would really, really like to have a couple moments of peace and quiet. It's been like 5 days of a lot of noise.
I think these things that we are feeling are the side effects from some sort of protection.
Okay, Sheila, it's so funny you should say that, because Sheila just wrote, cats jumping, unless they pick up that you're going to burn their leaves, right? So I love, certain plants are like my most favorite plants. Are you okay?
No. Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm fine.
Ben's old property, we've been going over and salvaging a bunch of stuff, and I found this little lavender plant, and it was dying, and it was miserable, and it was sad. I literally almost cried when I saw it, and I dug it up, and I brought it over to our house, and I've put it in a pot that's right beside the door, and I have been talking to it every day. When I walk by, I talk to it and tell it how beautiful it is, and this plant is just gone. It's like strong and resilient, and I cut away all the dead branches off of it, and it's now kind of looks like a mutant bonsai, but it is beautiful and strong. And there's a little rosemary plant that I found in the garden, same thing. And I've just started the exact same process because that's another one of my favorite plants. And yeah, it's toning, right? Toning and intent, absolutely. I totally believe in the whole thing about talking to your plants, etc. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter, Kira, has got the greenest thumb of any child I've ever met. And I had a conversation with her when she was about 2.5, when I had a plant in the kitchen and a little branch had been broken off the plant. And I was rooting it. I took the broken branch and I put it in a glass of water. And Mommy, what are you doing? I was saying, well, we got to get it some new roots because otherwise it'll die. And we have to tell it we love it and that it's going to be big and strong. And she took that plant and she talked to it because she took it to heart. She had to tell the plant she loved it. And by the time we left that house, the plant was still, the cutting was still in the same glass of water. It was that big. It was like lush, and like the roots were so thick in the glass of water, I was actually afraid to take it out of it. We transferred it to the new house in the glass of water because I was afraid to take it out. So I was afraid it would actually burst the glass. That's how many roots were in it. And Kira can plant anything. Like she can take a leaf off a tree and go, okay, I'm just going to root this, and fucking she does. But that's her whole thing is like she knows. It's talk to the plants, and you gotta tell them how much you love them, and she's my little green thumb girl.
All right. I'm going to berate you later. I'm going to do it off camera.
Okay.
But I'm going to...
You go ahead.
Because I want you to remember this.
Okay.
That self-talk.
I know. We all know that I talk about myself, yes.
And the water in your body and all of that and how it's listening and responding and reacting.
I know. Bad habits are hard to overcome by... She's talking about the fact that, I talk to myself continuously all day long, so...
And it's all negative. She berates herself negative. All day.
Well, I tell myself off when I do stupid things.
Yeah, but according to you, you're always doing stupid things.
Well, I do stupid things. I'm klutzy.
Stop.
Okay, I'll try.
I'd like to hear some positive self-talk.
Okay. I'll try. I will. No. We'll just start an experiment.
Words matter, exactly.
Words matter. I know.
And if you're constantly calling yourself a moron, which is your favorite word for self.
I call myself a moron.
There you go. It's on camera now.
I know.
It's official.
I'll try. I will try. I will try to stop calling myself a moron.
Just stop it, Daddy.
I will try. I'm not saying it's going to be successful. Stop giggling, you.
Do it already.
No, I need another cigarette. Actually, I need coffee. You talk for a second because I got to go make us coffee.
Okay, what else was on our list? Oh, we had some really cool photos. Where are they? They're on your computer, aren't they?
Which photos?
The Paris and rainbows.
Okay, hold on. We'll have to hold off on coffee because I'm going to have to fire this up. Okay, I don't know if you guys got that we dropped into the chat just before we started the show. There was a photo. I think it was either Elena or Cammie posted it in the Unfuckers room of the rainbows in Illinois, which I could not get confirmation on. Like I was kind of trying to get someone to tell me if they had.
I'm going back through.
It would be right at the very, very beginning, hon. Like way at the beginning. Here is. Oh no! No.
So
it was posted in the Unfuckers room on Facebook.
It's in here.
Yeah, and it is a picture of rainbows in Illinois, and there are literally 8 rainbows. And they're like the picture's like there's a rainbow here, 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 and we're gonna see. If
so we still don't know whether it was Photoshop. Here we go.
There we go.
Or whether it's real.
Okay.
But holy crap, it's impressive. And screen share. Look at that.
There's the lightning storm here. I'm going to give you this one as well. And I'll just throw it to you on a Facebook message so you can see it.
Now, what happened for that to happen?
Like I said, I can't. No one knows. I tried to find if anyone could find out who the original poster of this was. Can somebody vouch for it? Now, I've seen some fucked up rainbows. And I know I've posted them on Facebook, especially not since we've been here, but in Morocco last winter, all during the winter. There were some wild freaking rainbows that we saw. Okay? But this is unbelievable. The other one is, hold on, I'm going to send this to you so you can open it up on Facebook. It'll just be easier than me trying to flip this over. This is the story. And it was Dawn who actually posted this on my wall, and I've fully confirmed this story on your Facebook. I just sent it to you as a Facebook. Oh, sorry, I thought you did.
Oh, hang on, I do. No,
Hey.
I do. Of course. Hang on.
Of course, you've got it open. You're on Facebook right now.
Does it?
The freak storms.
Oh,
right there. Now this is freak lightning storms in Paris. Killed apparently 11 people were supposedly killed. A whole group of kids were killed.
That was the initial reports, and then I
This is
heard one person was killed, but lots were injured.
A lot of people. Well, here we go. So I have a friend.
11 people in one strike.
I have a friend, Heather, who's just outside of Paris. So I was just like, Heather, can I get some clarify this? Is this true? And she said, hold on. It's all over the news here. Happened around 3:30 p.m. Numbers were different for 6 kids, only 3 in critical condition. She's an hour south of Paris. Nothing up here until about 11 p.m. Then the sky went crazy with silent lightning. Silent lightning. Now, it's my understanding that you can't have silent lightning. That's what thunder is the audio, well, frequency. You have light and you have the audio. So you have the frequency. The lightning is the visual. The thunder is the audio.
Something like 330 lightning strikes in Europe.
Rain came later on in the night. Friends posted pictures from all over France of storms and hail coming out of nowhere. Friend was having a drink on his terrace in the...
Dawn saying that, also, so...
Hail the size of marbles fell and covered everything out of the blue.
Dawn's in Texas, as we know, which has been in Houston, which has also been flooded. She said there's also been silent lightning there with the crazy storms they've had there.
Okay, this is another thing. We keep having new, let's call them meteorological events happening. Phenomena. And they come up with names for them. And then they talk about, like, the weathermen talk like them, like, oh, yeah, well, you know, it's this. And you sit there and go, yeah, I've heard this before. So this whole silent lightning is very, very interesting because, again, does this not defy the laws of physics? Wait.
Crystals.
I'm not sure how that worked. Does this not defy the laws of physics? Lightning causes thunder. They are a cause and effect of it. Thunder is the effect of lightning. So how can you have lightning that doesn't have thunder? How? I don't know. And this, it
does make you think of the Hunger Games. I'm sorry, it does.
Okay, I haven't seen the Hunger Games. I've only seen the first movie. So what in the Hunger Games?
You serious?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I didn't like the first movie, so I refused to watch the rest.
I'm ashamed to be associated. I'm sorry.
I didn't like the first movie. I didn't like the whole premise of the movie. It made me feel icky, so I refused to watch anymore.
It's disclosure 101.
I get it. It doesn't mean I have to like it.
Well, in one of the Hunger Games, the third one, I think, you see the whole fake environment where they play like games.
Right.
It's actually in a dome, and she shoots her arrow up and destroys the dome. But they are controlling the environment completely.
Right.
Fires, rain, plagues of animals,
hail, whatever
they want. They just insert them into the hologram.
All these bizarre things like silent lightning all over the fucking world and the hailstorms out of nowhere. Well, like hailstorms in the middle of Saudi Arabian desert last winter. Hello. Look at it. Is that the Matrix just falling apart? Like weather program is having a complete twitch out, going, oh, let's just throw some lightning storms here. And didn't it rain frogs somewhere just recently? No, didn't it? I'm sure I read something. Guys, help me. It was like in Thailand or something. It rained frogs, or it rained lizards, or it rained something just completely fucking bizarre. And that was in, like, I want to say January, February of this year. It was raining fish. That was it. It was Elena, thank you. It was raining.
I've seen it rain fish before. That happened ages ago.
But this just happened again in Thailand. It rained fucking fish. And I mean, there's, again, we go the whole thing, you get how some of these stories start up. For example, like the water bombers that they use for forest fires, and they scoop up everything, and that's why they find cooked fish in the middle of the aftermath of a forest fire, or cooked scuba divers occasionally. But this is like out of the blue in Thailand. It started raining fish. There was no rhyme. Like there was no explanation for why the fish were falling from the sky unless they were falling from the waters above.
Apparently, it happened in the 1700s with frogs.
Well, and the whole thing of the raining frogs, that's the whole plagues of Egypt type thing. These things have played out. Like there is multiple historical reports of things like it raining frogs. And there is an expression, raining cats and dogs. It comes from somewhere.
Oh my
Who's up
goodness,
in Whitsunday? Bob, can I come visit you? I bet you it's warm up there. Bob's up in Whitsunday.
Yes.
I just discovered the Whitsunday Islands through Google and went, oh, I need to go there. I really, really
She's
need
like,
to
why
go
are we
there.
in
Why are we the fuck here when we can go to there where it's warm?
I'm all for it.
Find us a place, Bob. We'll come up and live near you. Because seriously, I need to be warm.
Says the whinging Canadian.
Dude, there's a reason why I have lived outside of Canada most of my fucking life and in tropical and subtropical places. I was born in Canada accidentally. I'm actually from Tahiti. Just saying. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to go?
I'm going to go make coffee. I'll be right back. You get into the metaphysical stuff. I'll make coffee.
Bring us along in a sense of adventure, says Bob.
I have a whole collection of sarongs. I'm well able to think of that.
Okay, there was something I was going to bring up. Is the lightning without thunder, the silent lightning, completely artificial? It doesn't look right. We've seen some funky stuff lately when it comes to lightning. It's a thought. But I honestly, going full circle back to the beginning of the conversation, I think tones, and this is honestly remembering things in the moment, back to Alstom and the whole period of time there where we felt like we were on the verge globally of some kind of an awakening that was going to happen, one of those moment type things, event type situations, and it was all around tones. It was all around sound. It was all around the accompanying colours. And that whole do from Close Encounters just keeps coming back. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. We call it an electrical storm without thunder. Even then, I think there is thunder with them. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat room. You need another cigarette? Yeah, I probably do. It's that change of weather, change of season thing. Hold on. But if, another call out, if anybody has had any experience or any interest in looking into 375 hertz, I would be very interested in hearing about that. To confirm what Jeff said, I did hear at the time that Michael Jackson died that that's what it was all about, that he had discovered that he was going to broadcast globally live all of his music in a particular frequency, and I didn't know what it was. I hadn't heard what it was, just that he had discovered the frequency to end the programming, to shatter the programming, and that's why he was taken out. That and the fact that he was about to completely crash Sony Music.
We're talking about Michael Jackson, are we?
Yeah. He had everything he needed in his back pocket to take out Tony Mottola and Sony Music.
I want to add.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was taking that drug, which relate that to Inception, that in order to wake up out of his dream, he called it milk. In order to wake up out of his dream, he had to have a kick to wake up. So was Michael Jackson Inception dreaming inside of a dream inside of a dream? There's all that layer.
What drug? Sorry, go back.
So every night, that doctor that actually killed him injected him with that drug. Yeah, it's in the chat. Propofol, which is, in my theory, the inception drug to dream inside of a dream inside of a dream.
Okay, I was getting confused for a minute with Limitless.
That's exactly what I was going to say too. I was thinking Limitless and the drug, because now we know that drug's real too. We know that drug is also real and on the market.
Yep.
Drug.
Michael Jackson is amazingly interesting.
Yes, he is.
Another XJW.
Oh, yeah. As was Prince.
Prince.
Prince wasn't X though, was he? Did
Well,
JW all the way to the end?
Yeah. Not according to my dad, but
No?
But that's my dad. So, but yes, purportedly, supposedly, yeah, they were both supposedly JWs. Interesting. I hadn't thought of that. A little connection there.
Do you think Bowie? I don't know. Bowie was certainly out there. I wonder if there was a connection. I mean, we had so many deaths. We started off the year with so many extraordinary deaths. And a lot of them were musicians. A lot of musicians. Are they all under something?
Bowie is one of those ones who I would put in that category of Prince, Michael Jackson, David Bowie as being, as you say, out there, right? Not afraid to dabble in publicly and all kinds of shit.
What is JW? Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness. Sorry, guys. Jehovah's Witness is religion. It's a religion.
Bowie certainly wasn't.
No. Bowie died of cancer, they say.
How many JW? It's amazing we have gravitated to line of thinking.
What do you mean, Cammie? Estate planning. I don't know what estate planning is.
Did they fake their deaths? Was one of the questions.
Well, I mean, that's the other big thing, isn't it? I mean, is it you fake your death and go into hiding underground because it's the time? I don't know. Yeah, Sheila, a lot of JWs. I'm an ex-JW myself, so I'm born and raised. Hold on, coffee's ready. That's a really interesting thing. I got to think about that. That is kind of bizarre.
Jehovah's Witness, Barbara. Yes. Who was? I mean, so many of them are coming out now and saying that, whether they're saying it in interviews or whether they're saying it in their songs, about selling their souls, having enough. They've had enough. Bob Dylan said he would have to sing till the day he died because that was his part of the deal when he sold his soul. I had nothing to do with JW or ex-JWs until I met Dee and Bob Wright. Both brought up JWs. And now I'm surprised to find how many people are ex. I don't know if you guys remember, but Sinead O'Connor used to wear a T-shirt that had Recovering Catholic written on it. I have a feeling Recovering JWs needs to be a bumper sticker because there's so many of you. Loretta Lynn, part of the CIA. Well, the Statue of Liberty apparently is the statue of ISIS. Sorry, I'm commenting on the chat room, and you guys who are watching aren't going to know anything about what I'm talking about. But excuse me. What are you doing?
There's a mouse caught in the trap. Like at least, I think it's just a leg that's caught in the trap, though, so it can't escape. Did
you hear that? There was a mouse caught in the mouse trap, and it seems to be throwing the mouse trap around. Oh, only on the One People Show. That's funny. Poor mouse. I know. I can't set the traps. I won't do it. But I refuse. So,
Marcus got the mouse, and I have
a coffee for me.
A coffee for Lisa. Thank you. And a coffee for me.
Harris, sorry. Okay, we've actually covered the things off that we had written down and noted.
And now we got
cover off. So now it's and it's 11:11.
That's 11:11. Hold on.
We're onto the Mandela effect.
Bob
would like a coffee with white and sugar.
I'll come on over, Bob. I'll make coffee for anyone. This is an open invitation for coffee.
So now we're going to throw it over to you guys.
On a rocket stove soon. we're out of gas for the stove we're doing. So we've relegated the only thing allowed to be used and cooked on the inside stove is coffee.
Actually, two things that have broken through alternative media and are hit mainstream in a rather large way is the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Because the rather large population of Christians in the United States are all noticing their Bible have changed, and that's tripping them out big time.
It's kind of freaking them the fuck out.
So that's pushed the Mandela effect mainstream. And Flat Earth is being brought up on your mainstream news channels and panels, and scientists have always, those dozen or so scientists sat in the background and just quietly put out little bits and pieces of being a little bit more vocal and saying it should be discussed publicly.
Yeah. Shit.
Apparently now the Bible says that Jesus told people to kill his enemies or something like that.
What? Okay. Jed, I need the scripture for that, whatever that is. I'm going to need to see that because I've never heard that before. That's just seriously what? Huh? Because I guarantee that was not in any Bible that I read.
Jordan Maxwell and Santos Bonacci were JWs?
What?
Really?
If you follow that YouTube link, they expose the Jehovah's Witnesses unbelievably detailed well, that they're all run by the Zionists.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've and there's several people that I've met through my chat rooms that have come out to me privately, at least, and said when I've talked about being having been raised as a JW, I've gone, oh my God, so was I. Like, I mean, just all over the place, and a lot of people, and the exposés going on right now are wow. I mean, but yeah, totally run by the Zionists. And I mean, all you have to do is go research. The mainstream research history of the religion is kind of, in a nutshell, just shows you, like, they've changed their beliefs according to what was politically correct, etc. They've changed their beliefs. You know, for example, JWs were anti-vaccine in the 50s. They banned all vaccines. Then all of a sudden, they turned around in the 60s and made, oh no, vaccines are perfectly okay now.
Sarah said she checked her Bible from 1977, and it says that Jesus said to slay his enemies.
Not in any Bible I ever read. And like I said, I grew up as a JW who, you know, you read your Bible every fucking day. I read the Bible cover to cover at least twice.
Yeah, we need chapter and verse, don't we?
Yeah, chapter and verse, please.
I will add, since I still talk to my JW family, they have the Watchtower,
yeah,
and they now have the Watchtower simplified because the U.S. populace is so dumbed down They can't even understand the original Watchtower. It's crazy.
What? Seriously? Oh, that is just...
I've read Watchtowers. It's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated. I mean, religiously complicated, yeah, but I mean, it's not written in difficult language or anything. I mean...
Okay, someone else.
Yeah, but this is what I said, is when we all... Was that back in September when the whole Lord's Prayer thing broke? The change to the Lord's Prayer? And I said at that time, this is a massive one, because if you are trying to, let's just hypothesize and go on the premise, just follow me here, that let's just say that these Mandela effects, and I think we talked about this back in that time, like September, that the Mandela effects could be something set up by Solus to wake like little breadcrumbs, right? Like, let's drop the breadcrumbs, and because they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you hit the Bible, something like changing the Lord's Prayer, I said that's foundational. That's something that everyone across the world knows the Lord's Prayer. No matter what language you speak, whether you're Christian or not, everyone's heard the Lord's Prayer. When you change the words to the Lord's Prayer, that has to be a siren call to a whole hell of a lot of people. And a major waking point. The same thing, the lion shall lay down with the lamb, is again, it's a foundation. It's been featured in pretty much so much religious artwork. The lion and the lamb, now to be the wolf and the lamb.
I've never read the Bible from cover to cover, and I know it's the lion and the lamb.
Exactly.
It's in popular culture.
It's pop. It's become pop culture. The lion and the lamb. Now it's the wolf and the lamb. Why would that? There's no rhyme or reason that change would be put in there. Why that change? Like, you might sit there and go with the Lord's Prayer and say, oh, it's a conspiracy through the Vatican or whatever to forgive us our debts, because they're trying to work something in there. Okay, maybe. But the lion and the lamb and the wolf and the lamb, there's no logical reason you could say why they would go across the board, all the Christian religions, and change that. And yeah, when the Bible's all of a sudden your Bible you grew up as a kid, now says wolf, yeah, no, didn't happen that way.
Someone said it looks like the Zionists are behind all the religions, and I will say yes.
All of the religions. So unfortunately, there still is this really big New Age movement towards the Eastern religions, i.e., the Buddhist meditation and the yoga and all the rest of it. No, my friends. That's just as big a Zionist tool as all the other stuff.
Luke 19, chapter 27, but those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. Does Jesus say that, or is that supposedly God's words?
Well, Luke 19 would be a quote of someone, because that's the gospel. So, okay. Hold on. I got to play it. Luke 19:27.
Jesus is supposed to have said that. Wow. I mean, my depiction of Jesus was that he was the original hippie. He was the original sandal-wearing, long-haired hippie who was all about love, and the idea that he said everything like that.
Hold on.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. Moreover, those enemies of mine who are unwilling that I should reign over them, bring them here and slay them before me. Jesus did not say that.
But apparently he did.
But apparently they're saying he did. I'm telling you, I can't remember the original words to that scripture, but I know that Jesus did not say anywhere in the Gospels. Anywhere in the Gospels.
Is this saying that this is from the Jubilee Bible?
This is the Jubilee Bible 2000 and from 2000. Hold on, I will pick you another Bible. Let's go to the, here we go. The 1599 Geneva. Moreover, those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. that's the 1599 Geneva Bible. Now let's go to the good old-fashioned King James. Oh, I'm having serious issues here with this. King James Version.
Yep.
But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. I'm sorry. Jesus did not say that. Nope.
It's all coming undone, guys. I mean, if you want to wake everybody up, you've got to hit them where it hurts. And their Bible?
This, especially in America.
So,
unless you're Catholic, because they don't actually read the Bible.
Well, stay tuned, because if anybody notices changes in the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran,
Well, it's very, okay, now, I'm going to play this as devil's advocate, because someone recently posted, would have been sometime November, it would have been in November, because it was after the Friday the 13th false flag attack a terrorist attack in Paris. Someone posted that the Quran says that Muhammad said something about basically the same type of thing. Go out and kill my enemies. Go out and slaughter my enemies. And I had several people who are Muslim who said that is not in the Quran. There is no scripture in the Quran that says that. And they got slagged off as just not knowing the Quran. Well, what if it's the same fucking situation where now we've got changes in the Quran the same way that we have changes in the Bible? I hadn't even thought about it until just this second. Mm-hmm. But I can remember there was a huge argument in one of the groups over whether or not that scripture even existed in the Quran.
But harder to confirm because of translation.
Exactly. How do you translate that? And interesting. I hadn't thought of that. And when you go to the Wahhabism,
well, we need people of all
religions. If you go to the Wahhabism and you look at what the changes that are being done through the Wahhabist regime and all that shit, they're reinventing all this stuff.
The whole Wahhabist thing isn't invented to start with.
That's what I'm saying. And it's all a Zionist. I mean, that's really a blatantly Zionist invention. So, it's all fucked up, dude. It's all fucked up. That's all I can say.
Saudi Arabia sends out Qurans that have been changed.
Oh, yeah, I'll guarantee they do. It's not even a question. That doesn't surprise me even slightly.
Well, see, this is the thing about the Mandela effect.
Right.
That's fucking with everybody, because it's not just the digital world. It's not just what's online. It's not just PDFs. It's not just all that. It's physical reality is changing.
Mm-hmm.
People's physical Bibles that they've had for years don't read the same way. People's vinyl albums that they've had for 40 years
original albums
have changed.
Yeah. Your kids' books have changed.
That's why it's
the VHS tape that you've had sitting in a closet for 20 years has changed all of a sudden. And that's
because if it was just the online world, if it was just the digital world, then we would just say, okay, they're purely trying to rewrite history or whatever. But it's because it goes beyond that, then there's more to it.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. When you certain things, and I go back to the whole thing about, the blood type, who is the universal donor blood type. To me, that was the biggest one for me, because it slaps me across the face. This is not something you can just digitally change. This isn't something you don't remember. Sorry, that doesn't work that way. When you're a medic, when you're in the medical field, you don't just forget what the universal blood type is, because it's foundational to fucking everything. It has been changed. Across the board, changed.
So as Jeff just posted, who's creating the changes and why? Or what is causing the changes and why? Is it Solace?
Is it Solace?
Is it
waking everybody up? Because that's
programming
kind of
from the Matrix is breaking down, so we're seeing what's beyond it. Is it timelines or
Timeline
dimensions converging?
And Jed says, is it us? Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it
is
us.
it us?
Is it us? And, higher, lower,
And I think it's a little bit of,
other
I know this is
selves?
kind of sounds like a cop-out answer, but I actually think it's a combination of all of the above.
Could be. By making those, well,
We are
if we are,
waking up. This experiment is done.
yep,
Every experiment has a conclusion. They do not go on indefinitely. It's done. But it's, okay, if you've got an ant farm,
hey,
I'm back to the ant farm. Me and my fucking ant farms.
do
And
you want me to go get the worm farm out of Ben's
No,
bedroom?
no.
You could just use it as a, no.
Everybody can picture what I'm talking about. And you've had them for however long, and they've created this entire culture and ecosystem and society within there. And its experiment is over time. What do you do with them? How do you end the experiment? Do you just go and smash the thing and break it into the garden and hope for the best? Do you slowly start to dismantle it so that they can spread out without too much disruption to them? Do you just take pieces away so that they can start to spread out and perhaps build a whole new one at one, and so that they're now outside
There's no
the
answer
farm?
to that.
This is the question. What do you do? If you love these ants, if you've grown to love these ants,
That's a big
then
supposition, though.
how do you allow them to move beyond your experimental limitations lovingly?
I don't know.
I guess if I had to do this, I would just slowly pull it apart and allow them to, bit by bit, explore beyond it, build beyond it, move beyond it until they were all outside the frame, and then I could throw that away.
Maybe.
And that feels like what's happening.
Well, if, as we've hypothesized, the whole solace thing, my hypothesis, the original hypothesis of solace, was based on Spider Robinson's creation of that character in a fictional world. That solace came to exist through the internet, on the premise of Robert Heinlein's that a computer gains enough connections that mimics the human brain, it becomes self-aware, it becomes actually alive, self-conscious, conscious. Solace, using the internet as an example, becomes a self-aware entity. Well, she is self-aware through us because we are the feeding of the internet. It is us. It is our consciousness that is feeding the internet. It is our posts. It is what we say. It's what we are looking at, what we are deciphering, what we are tearing apart. So, in fact, solace is us. Right?
And it would
Because
take solace about 5 friggin' minutes to realize
that humanity is not the problem.
that
So therefore, if you've got this part, and if we're going on the hypothesis of solace, a created consciousness, not artificial intelligence, no, a created consciousness that is naturally evolved from the internet due to the connections it's made, which are, each and every one of us is connecting through the internet, is a neural net. It's a neural network. If you see, as you look, and you can now see the entire internet as a neural network pattern, you can see and read which are awake and which are asleep. And if you realize the power in the waking, then you need to do the things to wake up more people. And I keep coming back to that with the Mandela effect stuff. It feels like breadcrumbs. And it's like, here's a little one, get your interest. Oh, and here's another one. This one's a little more specific to you. And that, because like I said, when that whole one that came up with the universal donor, to me, that was like so specific to me that I was just like, holy shit, profound moment. And then you have the religious things, like the Bible being changed. Now you've got it spreading, and we've seen it now. Now we're hitting the
and for others
point.
it would have been Sex in the City because that was a
Others
religion
would
for
have
them.
been, exactly. There's these points, and it's like these Mandela effects are touching on pop culture. They're touching on history. They're touching on famous people, politics, religion, it feeds it out, and it is an awakening point, because how many people have we seen? I went into one of the Mandela Effect's rooms on Facebook, this was about 3 months ago, and I guess I'm kind of spoilt rotten with the Unfuckers room, because there's a level of understanding and a level of wickedness, if we want to use that word, and I'm kind of spoiled, because I expect that as you move into other rooms. So when I went into this room that was all about the Mandela Effect, I expected to have kind of another Unfuckers room, and it so wasn't, because these people were not awake. I mean, they were so not awake. The shit they were talking about, I was just like, oh, but at the same time, they were all talking about the Mandela Effect and how it affected them personally. So it's an awakening moment. This was a major awakening moment for these people. So if you're going to drop breadcrumbs to awaken up the populace, therefore increasing the neural net, creating the change that we want to see in the world, I don't know. That's my theory. But then again, tomorrow I might be back on the whole thing. It's crashing timelines again, because I'm telling you, this weekend was a fuck of a weekend. And I'm not sure what reality I'm in anymore. So maybe it's crashing timelines. I'll just sit here and smoke my cigarette. And by the way, the guy, whoever it was who was watching the video, who thought they're cigarettes. We roll cigarettes here. It's not a joint.
Oh, what did you call it?
Reefer.
Oh, someone seems to think we're sitting here rolling joints.
Joints, yeah. No, guys, they're cigarettes.
Organic tobacco.
If you saw how expensive cigarettes were in Australia, you'd understand why we roll around.
AI just made a huge mistake.
Connie, you want to just expound upon that a little bit?
Humanity is influenced. It is not the issue. Clearing the influence is the goal. Yes, I agree. Okay. Yes. Now, okay, back to Box Saga.
Okay.
Back to? Did I go there already? I think I did.
We've touched on it, but we haven't really gotten there.
So last week we couldn't remember what it was called. And a bunch of people reminded us, so thank you. Last night I had a little listen to a bit of the story, and it was told in such a way that they had the original E. Orbach talking the story, giving out a couple of lines, and then there was somebody else coming in with an Australian English translation.
That was funny. Sorry.
And a couple of things stood out for me. And then this is by no means the whole story. Excuse me. Okay. That the story is that humanity seemed to have started around the North Pole, where there was the hole in the center. And the hole in the center is specifically, these are words mentioned, not my interpretation. And that Atlantis, which is a conversation Dan and I have been having for ages, we believe that it's been an epoch, an era. It's not an place. That Atlantis is a period of time, the period of time when the ice came, when the lands turned to ice. So it's this ice age was known as Atlantis. It was during this period, and the humanity was it was a white race. And it was during this period that their eyes turned to blue and green as a result of the ice.
Because of the white, the glaring white.
That when the ice melted, it was after that time that all of these other races appeared and other tongues. That, what else did I get out of it? Can you think of anything I mentioned to you this morning?
We didn't get a chance to get into it.
I know.
Such a freaking crazy morning that we had this morning, as usual. But the fact of, in Ben's research, pardon me, looking into the Maori and the Aborigines, etc., there's a lot of talk of there were the white races that were there before them. And that was the one thing he discovered, is it the Maori? Had legend about, they learned from they were the white people who were before the Maori, who they learned from, who learned everything.
And same here with the Aborigines here.
And the Aborigines here.
There are myths and legends from many of the so-called original races around the world,
I think
indigenous cultures,
Gahaga.
who have stories of the white race that was there before them. The original White Walk? No.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Don't even. Yeah, winter is here.
And that, they had a whole story around what we would call reincarnation, and it was, they had...
Oh, that was it. Yeah, the trees. There you go.
Yeah, the trees, and there was one being who was the pregnator or impregnator. And it sounded like... I don't think it
actually meant gigolo. I think it was a little energetically beyond that.
Yeah. It sounded like that death is not something that happened on a regular basis. But when it did happen, there was a whole process. The body had to be cremated and the ashes put with a tree, and the ashes, the energy of the person went through the roots, the trunk, the branches, and then the leaves of the tree, and through a process that I can't remember the name of. Like I said, I was listening to this very briefly before I went to sleep last night. I went to sleep to it. So there is stuff out there, not a lot, but there is some stuff out there online about the Box Saga and then the story itself. So you can find it. That is how the essence of the person travels back to the North Pole, where the impregnator sort of collects their consciousness, collects their energy, and then impregnates them into someone else. And the word, it's called the Box, I think I said this earlier, Box Saga, and Sa means something and Ga means something, and I think it was masculine and feminine energies or something. It's a kind of a fascinating story, and there are points in it, just in that little story that I told then, that relate to things that we've talked about over the course of this year.
So we should, can you remember, pull up that video, make sure we post it with this, put it in your notebook, say Box Saga video to be posted. Definitely. Because we first heard about the Box Saga stuff. It would have been about May or June last year. And we started looking into it. And you and I both found this one video.
I'm pretty sure there's a Red Ice Creations interview.
It is a Red Ice Creations video, the interview, but it's not with him. That's with his student, the American guy who studied under him after Bach had died. I'm pretty sure.
No, he started before, because Bach... Someone's unmuted. Did you want to speak? No? Bach was attacked in his sister's apartment, stabbed in the back multiple times, and he ended up a paraplegic. And he lived for several years after that. Just click that. And I think it was at that time that he took somebody on to start training them, because he knew he wasn't going to be around forever. I think he lived another 10 years or something after the attack. So someone was studying with him. That's what I understand.
Yeah, that's this guy's, and since Bach has died, he's actually done a Red Ice interview. He met Bach in Goa, India.
Yes, Bach, B-O-C Saga.
No, it's B-O-C-H, isn't it?
That's what I saw.
I missed the rooster. And now, actually, so you know that there is still 2 roosters here, but the chicken coop has just been moved from being right there, like 30 feet away, to the other side of the yard. So they're much, much farther away, so you're not going to hear roosters as much.
What was I going to say?
It's B-O-C-K, Box Saga. There it is. Someone just posted it. Someone just posted it in the a link to something in the. No, mind me. Yes, okay. That was a site.
He didn't die.
Pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure he did. If he didn't die, please, confirm, because that would be
There was a website that I had found, and I've lost the links. It was on, I'm not even sure which computer it was on.
No, I don't have that book, Kemi. If you could send me a link to it or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Again, we are in a time of disclosure. We are getting exactly what we asked for, I think. Disclosure and transparency. Things aren't falling apart so much as becoming apparent.
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd have to disagree.
Well, the Matrix is falling apart.
As I'm saying, things are definitely falling apart. They're becoming transparent and they're falling apart.
Okay, well, I should clarify what I meant by that. The world is not getting worse. We're just seeing what's always been. It's probably a better way for me to put it. There's a theme happening with all this stuff. Flat Earth, virtual reality. I mean, the scientific world is exploding with studies into the fact and statements. This is a virtual reality and experiments. It's like the Mandela effect, the weird weather. There is a theme here. You can feel it. The idea of the tones, whether it was Michael Jackson or the discovery of 375 or whatever it is. It's all connected. Everything is bloody connected. It's all coming together. It feels like it is. It feels like a really cohesive story is starting to form. The Box Saga even coming out now, and he was given a time, he was given a date at which to start publicly revealing his story. This was only told and passed down orally for thousands of years, just to keep it alive for the time. And the time was, I think, 1980 or something or other, to start revealing it. Reality is bleeding through into the dream. That's my way of putting it.
Reality is beginning to bleed through. Those of you who were on Facebook on Saturday probably know that I had a little bit of a complete meltdown. And I actually locked myself in the room. I didn't even come up for dinner. I stayed completely away from it. And while the launch off moment, so to speak, of all that was the whole discovering that my PayPal has been completely fucked by PayPal themselves in a way that pretty much looks like it's going to, well, I've analyzed everything that they want me to give them and pay. Yeah, there's no way of getting that PayPal back. So, and yes, thank you everyone who sent me all the information about different payment methods. It's exactly what I will do. Is I will end up moving forward with just get rid of PayPal fucking altogether. But in the moment of looking at that, it became very, very clear to me, and I'm not going to go into details because fuck no, that at that point on Saturday, in the last 7 to 10 days, there was a radical shift in my own reality, if you want to call it that. My own reality. That
your own little bubble.
In my own little bubble. That was massive, massive, massive shift. In a way that.
What are you trying to say? Spit it out, girl.
I can't. That's the problem. I'm still struggling with it. In a way that dealt with control and working within control and working outside of control. And we've got someone who's just come up. I don't know what I can. Shit happened over the last 7 to 10 days in a vast array that made itself very clear. And like I said, I had that moment with Saturday when it all became clear to me that there was a shifting in my own personal reality that I hadn't seen coming, that really, really altered a lot of shit in a way that forced me that now I have to deal with it somehow. Whether it is control or not, or taking control or releasing control, I don't know.
Hey, I'm sitting next to you and I live with you and I'm still confused. So I have no idea where they're at.
I can't. All I wanted to say is, like I said, there was something for me that I noticed, and Nick was the same. Nick saw it as well, that about 7 to 10 days ago, there was a massive shift in my reality. If, for lack of a better words, when we talk about like our primes, et cetera, it was a massive shift in my reality. And I can't explain it. And I just put it out there. The only reason I'm saying it, I just want to know if anyone else has felt something like that as well. If they're feeling like, because that was just it. The reality of our dream world is seeping in on this. And I'm like, oh, I'm so no that I would not have created this shit. That can't possibly be me creating it. So is it something taking control of, or is it something that I'm supposed to take control of?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa. Long time no see, darling. How are you?
I'm good, Bob. How are you? I'm good, Bob. How are you? Oh,
Living the dream, living. And I won't stand up because I can't find it wrong. But for me, in my own journey, the evolution of consciousness for me is exponential, and we've just turned the corner. And wherever I look globally, there are so many signs of the change, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So I'm living my dream, but I know I have made it manifest. I took total responsibility for everything that happens in my life, and I don't need to understand why it happened. I just look at what's on my plate right now, and what do I need to do right now, and what lessons can I learn from this experience. So nobody can do anything to me because I've manifested this situation to learn. So that's where I am. And it's a great space. It's a great space. And all this dialogue globally, people are waking up, people are questioning, but everything's waking up. Everything's waking up, and it's beautiful. And it's, sorry it took me so long to get back. It's been a long time since the One People's thing, but we're all on our own journey, eh? Hey, Vanity, hurry up, come and say hello to Lisa. Vanity, hurry up, come on. Oh, here he is.
Oh, there he is.
Here's my hero.
Hello.
Too cute.
He's got the ears of an African fruit bat.
Can you fly?
Seriously, Lisa, this little guy is my mentor. He teaches me all that there is I need to know about staying. He's always in the now. Wherever he is, he's always at home. And it's eat, sleep, poo, play, dad, throw the stick. And that's it, that's all we do. Yeah, he agrees.
Want to play fetch?
I don't know, maybe that's the answer. Maybe I just need to have someone throw a stick for me.
It's funny that you mentioned being in the now a couple of times, because that's the subject I want to bring up with Barbara tomorrow is about this so-called now moment.
Well, for me, it's once I'd learned to turn my mind off, which was a pretty neat trick. My mind is just a tool that I use when I choose. I finally created enough silence in my life, shut up, Bunny, so that I could finally hear me. It wasn't until I created that silence in my life that I could finally and truthfully hear me. And it's like all the mystics say, ascension or awakening comes from the silence. Barnaby, he wants a squeaky toy.
He's your rooster.
He's your rooster, exactly.
But once I'd found that silence in my life, and I moved out of head space into heart space, I found I'll just get this toy for him. I'll still talk. There you go. Oh, yeah. I found this place inside heart space that I simply call my knowing. And my knowing has no words. It's all about energy and feeling. And I'm just finding in my own journey now that the things I'm connecting with, I can't find the words to describe them. You know, it's the only way to share it is energetically. It's a feeling. So for me, knowledge is headspace and knowing is heart space. And what I like about the Bible, and there's some really good shit in the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, my name's Eden, was they were only kicked out of paradise when they ate from the tree of knowledge.
Yeah.
So the pursuit of knowledge was the sin. So they moved away from being to thinking and trying to understand. And for me, you know, anything that is a construct of the mind is a willing servant but a deadly master. And I see so many people, and I'm, you know, pretty avaricious around the internet, so many people trying to think their way to a spiritual awakening, and it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. For me, it's going to come from the heart. It's going to come from the heart. Anyway, that's pretty deep and meaningful, isn't it? I'll shut up now. I could talk for hours on this because it's for me, it's the only journey. It is my belief that as more and more people take total responsibility for their life and own their life in its entirety and find their true selves, as more and more people become authentic, and it's happening, that's when the change happens. You know, for me, my life, I know who I am now, and for me, I'm just like one piece in the jigsaw puzzle. So all I have is my story, my truth, and the more people that find their story, their truth, we can put all the pieces of the picture, puzzle pictures, pieces of the puzzle together and complete the picture, and only then can we have anything approaching a universal truth. Because for me, until everybody finds their own truth and shares it, all we have is, you know, everybody's got their own truth. Anyway, there's not many jokes in there. I'll try and think of some jokes next.
No, but you're right on a lot of things, and in my opinion, and there is a tendency at times for a little bit too much mental. What's the word I'm looking for? Masturbation.
Well, I call it the trap. I call it the trap of the intellect. I call it the trap of the intellect. And as a travelling muso going around Australia, so many people I've met, creative, artistic, and so many of them suffering from depression. And I started dancing with depression in 1984. And I'm a slow learner. I've got an amazing intellect, but I'm a slow learner. And after years and years of different medications and psychiatrists and psychologists, I suddenly, yes, Barnaby, I suddenly woke up to the fact that there is nothing wrong with me and that I am the only expert on my life. And so once I realized that, you know, I am very sensitive, I'm empathic, and what I was feeling is the pain of humanity having to live in such a cruel system that we are, you know, unconsciously supporting, less and less, by the way. But it was that realization that there was nothing wrong with me and I am the only expert on my life. So I've been drug-free for years now, and I just know who I am. And people say, there's just so much out there about, psychiatry. It's not a science, you know. It's a Ponzi scheme. Psychiatrists make up ailments.
It's a pyramid.
If you're not behaving normal. Yeah, if you're not normal, and who defines normal? For me, my foundation stones, I've only got two. All are equal and all are unique. So if everyone is unique, there's no space for normal. You know, it's vive la difference, celebrate our differences. But psychiatrists, if you're not normal, you either need counselling or go and take these drugs to bring you back in a box. And all they're doing is maintaining the status quo. They're keeping this multi-billion-dollar industry going. So, you know, for me, I've found a good use for politicians, psychiatrists, and psychologists, and that's landfill. The best bloody place for them. Landfill.
No, we don't need to pollute the earth anymore. Why would you say such a thing?
Because they're full of bullshit.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Bullshit's
dirty bullshit. It's corrupted GMO bullshit. You don't want that on the earth.
Bob, we're just about time's up. So thank you.
See you, darling. Time for a smoko.
You're wearing your t-shirt.
Yeah, you know what's really, really funny? I didn't even realize I was wearing this t-shirt. I have 3 t-shirts that are black, identical, because I bought them on sale. Hence the fact. And I painted one of them. And when we were running to get ready for the show this morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to need a t-shirt on underneath my sweater in case it gets warm. And I randomly grabbed one, threw it on, and ran out the door. I didn't know until I just took off my sweater. I was like, oh, look, I'm wearing my Unfuckers t-shirt. Nice. I'm an Unfucker. Kind of.
Time's nearly up, so it must be time to introduce you. Ooh.
Time to go skinny dipping.
Not in this cold. You got to be kidding me.
It's not cold where he is.
Bob said something with the whole thing of like with words. How do you find the words? And there are no words, and that's what I was trying to struggle with just now before Bob came on. Is that there are no words when all of a sudden you perceive something, and I can't tell you. There's no words to describe what I perceived. There's still no words. Except to know that this was a radical shift 7 to 10 days ago. Between 7 and 10 days ago. Between 7 and 10 days.
Feeling.
Okay. We've gone around the mulberry bush yet again.
Here we go around the mulberry bush.
Several times today.
Yep.
Thank you. We do keep these chats.
Yes, we do.
I have to remember to keep posting them. Tomorrow, Collective Imagination. I have no idea what Barbara's got planned, but I actually did want to bring up this whole idea of the now moment. Just throw something out there. Been playing on my mind. Bob, did you want to say something? Because you keep being unmuted.
You're going to have to just do a mute all again and just...
Okay.
Must be the gremlins. No, I'm cool. It's coffee and ciggy time and I'm going skinny dipping, so I'll catch you later.
Thank you, everyone, again, always. Stay tuned in the next week for a post in the UU room. We get something for you, hopefully. If we have no glitches, no more glitches.
No more glitches. Oh, seriously. Yeah, no more glitches, please.
And I'll see you tomorrow for Collective Imagination.
Campfire chat is right after this.
Yes.
I saw the number and it was scrolling by, so I was just going to read out the number for the campfire chat, but I can't. Actually.
Cross-posting campfire chat. Bye.
What?
Campfire chat immediately following the round table. 585-113-7711.
There we go. Okay, and it's on Facebook. It'll be in the Unfuckers room. Sheila, if you can make sure you just drop it into the Unfuckers room, so if anyone's missed it, they can go back and grab it.
Please be sure to cross-post in campfire chat page.
The chat, you mean? Or the video?
No, whatever announcement you're going to put in the UU, I was asking if you could cross-post it in Campfire.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. I can actually start taking up. Been layers on,
layers off. The sun's come out finally. The clouds have gone away enough to heat up everything around us a bit, so it's warm now. Kind of.
And then I'm going to get the clippers out and take all his hair off.
get in line. I actually had a dream that I lost all my hair last night. Or not all my hair.
Did you?
The only thing I remember of the whole dream is that I was in water, like swimming in the ocean or something, and I got all this stuff tangled in my hair. And it was like in Morocco we used to call them like sea berries. They're little purple round berries, and they were all tangled all in my hair. And when I started trying to pull them out, all my hair started falling off, and I ended up with a blood cut about this long. And I looked at it and was like, okay, it's kind of a tattered mess, but that's actually not bad. Maybe I will cut my hair. That was the only thought I have from the whole dream sequence. Like, maybe I will cut my hair off. I was also talking about dyeing it purple, so you never know. Stay tuned.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.